Welcome back to Northwest Elite Spirit, the channel you come to train your mind, body, and spirit. I'm Coach Brian. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now. This is Battle of the Mind, Carlos Castaneda's wisdom on overcoming weakness. Carlos Castaneda employed the strategy of showing up late, and it's my understanding that through this practice, he tested people to see who was the most earnest or the most studious towards what he had to share with them. Whoever was willing to stick around was more likely to hear what he had to share. And how we can apply that is to practice dedication and persistence in our pursuits. Taking your time and understanding that true dedication and interest may reveal itself over time, so there's no hurry. So as Carlos approaches this meeting, Armando Torres, come here. As Carlos is finally arriving at this meeting, Armando Torres, the author of this book, is looking out the window, and him and Carlos look at each other in the eyes. And after the meeting, Carlos tells Armando that he wants to talk to him in private. And this is due to Carlos learning the habit of taking advantage of omens. Some people, again, I've talked about this in other videos, paint things as mystical or like, oh, you believe in magic. In a way, yeah, believe in magic. You can look at it as a coincidence happened, and I use that as a way to create something. Or I use that as a means to go forward on something. It's your job to take this coincidence, if you want to, and turn it into something. And from reading these books and from practicing this in life, I can say that it makes for a pretty interesting and powerful practice. You can come across a lot of blessings with this practice. Carlos immediately goes into, he has to be somewhere else later, and so they have to make the most of their time. Being a bit of a salesman or a bit of a ham is part of being a teacher, I think. Captivating people's attention, and people value limited things more than they value things they have access to very freely. And so this focuses their attention on what he has to share. And how this applies to, say, you and me is to value your time and value other people's time. When you're working with someone on their thing, have full attention on their thing. And when you're working on your things, have full attention on your things, and make sure the people around you are fully focused on the part they're playing within that. So one of the people there asks Carlos his take on sorcerers and war, or what are the sorcerers' take on war. And Carlos's teacher and Carlos say, we are always at war, we're always fighting, like, to be ourselves and fighting for freedom from the people around us and society as a whole. And that people will wrap you up in things that don't have anything to do with you, and don't often have anything to do with them, and definitely things that don't go towards your personal spirit. And so they recommend you do things that go toward your personal spirit. And I guess you could call that a path with heart. Another practice Carlos emphasized was the practice of being oneself and accepting who you are as an individual. Being able to be your true self without anxiety and going out into the world and expressing your wants and needs. Harmony is flowing through life's challenges and not accepting artificial peace. Embrace challenges as an opportunity to grow. Remain adaptable and resilient. Carlos addresses the people there at the meeting with a question: what is the purpose of your life? And this is one of the questions. If you can't answer that one, all these others that we ask ourselves are pointless. It's one of 3 questions he gave them and told them to start there. Are your actions in alignment with your purpose? A sorcerer's duty first is to take care of himself. You can't take care of anyone else if you can't take care of yourself. Focus on personal growth and personal discovery rather than getting wrapped up in the things around you that don't speak to your spirit. He suggests that pity is a form of self-concern and is not respectable for a warrior. Practice empathy without pity and address others as they have equal value and equal input to you. They know things you don't know. They've had experiences you haven't experienced, and address them as such. And then there's the story around Carlos's cigarette addiction, where Don Juan tells them they're going to go far, so Carlos should bring a whole carton. Don Juan tells him to wrap it tightly and securely because animals will get it. They move out, go to sleep. Carlos wakes up and his cigarettes are gone. It turns into this grand adventure where Carlos, in the end, they're chasing cigarettes all over the place. There's a town over here, or there's a place over there, where there'll be cigarettes. Till Carlos wants to die, he says. And then Don Juan reveals that he's been toying with Carlos, and there's always been a town nearby, or there's always been a road nearby. They haven't been lost. You have to go read the book to know the whole story. This one goes to perspective too, because imagine Carlos on this arduous journey trying to find cigarettes, being miserable nearly from the get, and Don Juan is just having a grand old time. So it's a play on. They're both in the same space, but seeing it from totally different perspectives, and that's pretty cool. True rebellion isn't about rebelling against society or some cause, left, right, anything like that. True rebellion comes from rebelling against yourself, your personal programming and your personal attachments and your hang-ups and your triggers. And he suggests we just start to look closer and pay closer attention when we find ourselves, say, stuck in the same old patterns. And making decisions that bring you closer in life to power, personal power, or personal understanding of what's going on around you. Not doing things to dull your senses. For instance, when you're in a crowd, you may be sensitive and picking up on things, and through peer pressure be convinced to dull your senses around that. And so it goes towards that. Making deliberate choices to expand your perception, learning new things, meeting new people, looking at things from different points of view, literally and figuratively. Now, I do think that Carlos saw seeing Armando Torres in the window as he arrived and them making eye contact. I believe Carlos saw that as an omen, and that's why he pulls him aside at the end of the meeting and tells him he wants to talk to him in private. And again, that goes towards grasping coincidences. using the momentum of a coincidence to create something, and the importance of aligning your acts with meaningful purpose while remaining adaptable and open to challenges. Once again, I'm Coach Brian with Northwest Elite Spirit, the channel you come to train your mind, body, and spirit. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now. This has been Battle of the Mind, Carlos Castaneda's wisdom on overcoming weakness. If you found this content interesting, comment your thoughts below and hit the like button. Share with like-minded individuals. And as always, practice. Thank you.